Hi, today I'm going to show you how to break into the Kioptrix Level 1 machine and get root access. Just like in my previous videos on the Planets series of virtual machines, Kioptrix Level 1 is part of a series and I'm intending to do a video for each level. As always, I'll try to give an explanation of what I'm doing and why, rather than just showing you how. Let's get started. Our first step, as always, is to identify our target machine. We're going to use the ifconfig command to display our network settings. We can see that our host machine has an IP address of 10.0.2.15, so we will scan the 10.0.2 network to identify our target. We can use the nmap tool for this with the command nmap-sn 10.0.2.0/24. The SN option disables port scanning and is a faster and less intrusive method of scanning the network. We can see that nmap has identified three hosts: 10.0.2.1, which is our default gateway, 10.0.2.15, which is our host machine, and 10.0.2.24, which is our target machine. Let's use nmap again, but this time we're going to scan for some more detailed information using the command nmap-A 10.0.2.24. The -A enables operating system and service version detection. We can see that there are quite a few ports open. We have ports 22, 80, 111, 139, 443, and 32,678. Port 22 is an SSH port and allows us to remotely connect to the target machine through a command line, though we would need valid user credentials to do this. Port 80 is an HTTP port, so we should be able to access this through a web browser. Port 111 is running RPC bind, which maps RPC program numbers to universal addresses on a server. Basically, it allows a client program to discover the network location of a service it wants to interact with. Port 139 is a server message block, or SMB port, which is used for file and printer sharing over a local area network. In this case, it is running Samba, which allows non-Windows operating systems, such as Linux, to communicate with Windows machines using the SMB protocol. Port 443 is an HTTPS port, which is a secure connection to the web server, and port 32768 is an RPC port, which allows a service to be remotely executed by looking up the address of that service using the RPC bind discussed before. Let's take a look at our web server and see if there's anything interesting there. Open your web browser and navigate to the target machine IP. It brings us to a test page, which doesn't look like it's going to be much help. We can check the page source to see if there's any hidden information, but no luck. Next, we can try the HTTPS port. Use your browser and specify the HTTPS protocol, and you're using port 443. This time, we just get an error, so no luck there either. Let's try something different. We know that our target machine is running Samba, so let's try and find out a little bit more about what version of Samba and whether there is an exploit for it. Let's load up Metasploit. Metasploit is a powerful penetration testing framework. A full discussion of what can be done in Metasploit is well beyond the scope of this video, but for our purposes today, know that it can be used to scan for and exploit weaknesses on a target machine. First, we are going to use Metasploit's search function. We use the command search and then our search terms, which in this case are SMB version detection. We find a module called SMB_version, which will work nicely. We want to use that module, so we type use and then the number of the module. In this case, it's the only one and it's number 0. We can use show options to see what parameters we can change. In this case, we can adjust the rhosts, which is our target, and the number of threads. Let's use the set command to adjust to our target machine and then run the module. We can see that we are running Samba version 2.2.1. Next, we want to search for an exploit that is suitable for this version of Samba. Let's use searchsploit, which is a command line search tool for the exploit database. Use the command searchsploit Samba 2.2. We can see a few options for different operating systems and versions. The 64-bit Linux trans2open remote overflow looks promising, so let's give that one a go. Head back to our Metasploit framework and use the search function again, this time searching for trans2open. We are given 4 options, but we want the one for the Linux operating system, so we're going to run the command use 1. Once again, we're going to use the show options command. Change the rhosts to the target machine using the set command, and then we're going to change the payload from the default reverse TCP to shell_reverse_TCP. The reason we are changing the payload is because different Metasploit payloads have different characteristics and requirements. The default reverse TCP is suitable for creating a connection back to a host machine when the target machine can initiate outgoing connections and there is no filtering going on. When I tried this earlier, I found that my connection was being blocked, so we're going to use shell reverse TCP, which was able to bypass this filtering. Finally, use the run command to begin the exploit. Once that's done, type "who am I?" and you can see that we are now the root user. So, to summarize what we did, we used Nmap to scan for open ports, used Metasploit for version detection, searched exploit database for an appropriate Samba exploit, and used Metasploit to execute that exploit. This was quite a quick machine, but I imagine they get harder as we move up the levels, so my next videos will be covering those higher levels. I hope you enjoyed this video, and good luck in your own hacking exploits.